Shama Madam, please introduce our Dr. Alpesh Gandhi and invite him to say a few words because he has very limited time. So, Madam, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alpesh, to be with us this evening. I know you are so busy, but you find time to be with us. All of us know that Dr. Alpesh Gandhi is our very dear, dynamic, down-to-earth, foxy president. And we were waiting yesterday also for him. It's very good that he is with us. I will just request you, sir, to please say a few words of wisdom for every one of us.
Thank you very much, madam, for the kind words. And I'm not sir. And you all are doing very good work. So we all are doing good work. A very good evening to all of you, to all the viewers. On behalf of Foxy, I extend warm welcome to all of you to Foxy's initiatives, webinars. And we all know that this is a time of biggest health challenge, crisis, global enemy, COVID-19 pandemic. And this has led to an unprecedented chapter in the history of Foxy as well as we all as practitioners. Foxy and its committees are very proactive to guide our members in this difficult time, trying time. And particularly abortion is, we can say this is a time sensitive issues service. So initially there was some confusion, but now we have our advisory that this service we all should continue this service in this pandemic also. Abortion is legal in India still, lots of debates are there, and still unfortunately said parties, it is said that some of the studies showed that still 56% abortions are unsafe in India. It is said that 3.6 million abortions are unsafe in India. So it is very, very important for all of us to provide this service and to provide safe abortion service, particularly in this COVID-19. So many mothers are also do not know whether this service will be available to them or not. They are taking medicines themselves, and then they are coming to us with many problems. So let us help all those women. It is their right, and it is our duty to provide safe abortion. So I hope Dr. Bharti, I must congratulate Dr. Bharti Maheshwari for the excellent work she is doing for this committee. Lots of awareness program, lots of academic program. Recently, she also published MTP in COVID-19 era. So I must congratulate Dr. Bharti and her team, and I wish great learning, great academic today in this webinar. Sorry, I could not make it yesterday. Especially sorry to madam.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was not, it was difficult because yesterday it was a meeting with UNICEF.
Yes.
So I was busy with Foxy, and UNICEF is going to come with one very big MOU. So on the other hand, these activities are going on, and now we are near to 10th May, which is the Mother's Day. And I wish all the mothers, we are thankful to all of them. And we at Foxy has also planned a very big activity, from 12:15 p.m. onwards to 6:30 p.m. 6 hours activities are there. We have organized e-conclave. Very eminent celebrities are invited, to politicians, sports person, one actor, one actress, our Foxy members, senior members are there. A very good program is organized, and at the end, there is 1 hour musical program also. So we are trying to do something different in this difficult time on digital platform. Once again, I wish all of you a very good day. With this, I hand over mic to Dr. Bharti. Thank you very much.
Dr. Bharti, all of us know Dr. Bharti very well. She is chairperson MTP committee, and as Alpesh just now told us that she is doing lot of work, and really Bharti, I appreciate and congratulate you for your hard work for safe abortions MTP. You are running always. I found today she is here, tomorrow she is there. Thank you very much for everything you have done for MTP committee. And I know you are very dynamic, you are very hardworking, and I wish you all the best. And all of us know that Bharti is going to speak today. Her first topic is, as Alpesh also said, that safe abortion is a very important topic. You may speak about it many times, but every time you will feel that you have really learned something more. So she will be talking on safe abortion, how to ensure in practice, especially update on documentation. I hand over the mic to now Dr. Bharti Maheshwari, and thank you very much, Bharti, for making me as well as Dr. Kirti Dubey a part of this discussion today as experts. Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Thank you, madam. Before starting the session, I would like to say something that it is really a matter of appreciation that our President Foxy, Dr. Alpesh Gandhi, has spared time to come here. And as we all know, her visionary, theme that the safety first, and safety first for women as well as for the doctor. So we are working on this theme continuously. And Dr. Alpesh sir, thank you very much again. And we will continue to work with your supports for doing women's health as well as for safety of ourselves and for the patient. So thank you, Dr. Alpesh sir. So now I start my session, that is safe abortion, how to ensure in practice. Actually, yesterday we have done the session on how to, how to do MTP Act, continue the MTP Acts and abortion in Corona pandemic, tips to follow. I have told you how we have to manage the patient, what should be the approach, and what documentation, how to minimize the visits, and how to maintain the social distancing, etc. Now, in few minutes, I am going to discuss how we have to continue the safe abortion services with proper documentations, acts, and our places and our eligibility criteria, etc. So as Dr. Alpesh has said that around 15 million abortions take place in India every year, and around 3 to 4 million they are unsafe abortions. So it is really a matter of surprise that in India, though we have legalized the abortion long years back in 1971, but even though we are not able to control the unsafe abortion. So why is still unsafe abortion? As Dr. Alpesh already said, that it is due to unawareness about the law. Many, even 80% public don't know that abortion is legalized in the country, and we can have the facility of legal abortion. Second thing, emergence of the PCPNDT Act. As you all know, that conflict with the PCPNDT Acts, many formalities, many documentation, and many doctors and clinicians, they were not comfortable to provide the safe abortion services. And in fact, abortion word, it was stigmatized due to altered sex ratio. So in our tenure, we have tried to do Surakshit Garbhapat Beti Bachao ke saath, means safe abortion services should not be jeopardized in preventing sex selection. And this slide, this is a very important slide. I am showing you, this is the National Health Mission, Government of India slide. What tell us that national policy is to make abortion safe and widely available as per the law. Abortion is legal for a number of reasons. So this word should not be stigmatized, but of course not for reason of selecting the sex of fetus. Even today, 8% of maternal mortality is due to unsafe abortion. So safe abortion should not be jeopardized in preventing sex selection, because estimate indicates that about 9% of abortions are sex selective and 90% are not. So 90% have genuine indication. So that's why in whole last 2-3 years, we have promoted the सुरक्षित गर्भपात but beti bachao ke साथ. But of course safe abortion services should be continued. It is the FOXI's motto from every state of the country: Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Gujarat, Uttarakhand, everywhere, each and every corner of the country. And beside that, FOXI has given me opportunity to attend it, and with itself office where we have attended lots of WHO World Health meeting, with the meetings with the Ministry of Health as well as with WHO. And with all these meetings, we have explored the things what I am going to tell you in next few minutes. Like we all know that abortion is not only to provide medicine or to provide treatment. It is, in fact, have certain social factors, economic factor, policy factor, physical assets. So to provide the safe abortion services, we have to take care of all these things. So what we should learn or what we should know actually, we have to know about the laws related to abortion. We have to know how to maintain proper documentation. We have to know how to improve clinical skills, how to do the counseling, proper communication skills, and of course proper follow-up so that we can minimize the complications and morbidity and mortality. So if we talk about the laws related to abortion in India, these are the MTP Acts, amendments in MTP Acts 2002, POXO Act, and PCPNDT Act. These are the 4 important acts what we should know how to manage all these things. MTP Act development process. If you see the MTP Act, it is initially in the 1971, passed by both houses of parliament and receives assent by the president. And then you should know the terminology rules. What are rules? They are made by central government. And what are the regulations? They are made by the state government. So actually, under the MTP Act, it is dictated that under what conditions pregnancy can be terminated, who can terminate a pregnancy, and places where pregnancy can be terminated. While rules, they are made by the district level committee, by the districts, and they have proposed the formation of district level committees to extend the services of the abortion through the private sector. And MTP regulations, they in fact denotes the documentation reporting by the states. So these are the 3 things: MTP Acts, rules, and regulations. So we must know how to follow it and what they are actually. Now the very big question: is abortion available on demand? And a woman's legal, is it a woman legal rights in India? So now the thing, is abortion available on demand? Of course not. Why? Because of safety of women. Now many sometimes questions by many persons, then why it is not legal right? So I think it is the proposal that first choice should be to prevent unwanted pregnancy is contraception rather than abortion. That's why it is not allowed for every case. It is indicated only in certain conditions. So what are those conditions when abortion is legalized? These conditions, we all know that these are the 4 conditions. Continuation of pregnancy is a risk to the life of pregnant woman or can cause grave injury to her physical or mental health. Substantial risk that the child, if born, would be seriously handle abnormalities. The pregnancy was caused by rape, or it is due to failure of contraception in a married couple. So failure of contraception, married couple gave a wide range that if the woman couldn't, contraceptive method is not successful, then she has definitely right for abortion. Sex selection is not an indication for pregnancy termination under the law. We should always remember. Now, according to law, who can terminate pregnancy? We all know registered medical practitioners according to 1956. That means MBBS person who is entered in the state medical registered and have experience on training in gynae and obstetric as prescribed by MTP rules. Regarding the consent of the procedure, this is very important issue, and we all must know if more than 18 years, married or unmarried, only the consent of woman is required to terminate the pregnancy. And in case of minor or a mentally ill person, consent of a guardian is required. Guardian means a caretaker willing to be responsible for the woman. Spousal consent is not mandatory. Opinion of RMP means practitioner. For termination of pregnancy up to 12 weeks, only one RMP is required, while for 13 to 20 weeks, opinion of two registered medical practitioner is required. Sites for pregnancy termination. These all are mentioned in the MTP Act, that hospital established or maintained by the government and private site approved by the government or a district level committee constituted by government for the purpose. And this is about the MTP Act 1971, which was amended in 2002. In 2002, certain amendment was done, and it was actually to access for women for the termination of pregnancy in the private health sector. So amendment to the MTP Act in 2002 decentralized the process of approval of a private place to offer abortion services to the district level. And the district level committee formation is proposed, and this committee is empowered to approve a private place to offer MTP services to increase the number of providers offering CSE services in the legal ambit. Now, what is district level committee? We all should know that every district we have this district level committee, which has 3 to 5 members, including a chairperson. Chairperson, it is CMO or district level officer. One member will be shall be gynecologist, surgeon, or anesthetist. Other member could be from local medical professions, non-government organization, and Panchayat Raj institution of the district. At least one member of the committee should be a woman. The tenure of the committee will be for 2 calendar years, and tenure of NGO member will not be more than 2 terms. Now, how to get MTP site approval? Like many of practitioners, they want to do MTP at their centers or at their nursing homes. So how they should? All private sites need approval before starting abortion services. Public sector site do not need separate approval provided they have the required infrastructure. Approval is granted at district level by district level committee. So what is the process? Actually, they have to apply in Form A to the Chief Medical Officer of the district, and then their team come for the site inspection. If they are satisfied, they approve. If they are not satisfied, then deficiency reported and rectified by site, and then again re-inspected. And finally, if it is okay, then they issue a certificate in Form B. And this is the Form A site approval application. You can see the very simple. You can download it. It is from the Government of India sites and released by Government of India. This is universal all over the country. Form A, you can see there are 2 categories, up to 12 weeks termination or 20 weeks. Whatever you require, you have to arrange infrastructure according to category A or B. If you need approval till 12 weeks, then you have to arrange a gynae examination, labor table, resuscitation equipment, sterilization equipment, facility for treatment of shock, and facility for transportation. And if you need for more than 12 weeks, then you need to arrange an operation table, instruments, as well as anesthetist facility, beside all things that was in the category A. And once your site is approved, then you will get this form. This is called Form B. And this is the certificate of approval. This is also universal all over country, and you have to display it at your working place. You are not supposed to keep it in Almira, so you have to display it. And if you are giving the medical methods from your OPD, then this certificate should also be displayed, from which you have you are attached with this site for giving the medical method. This is a slide. This you also should remember. Key up to what gestational age, at what site you can provide these services. Pregnancy may be terminated at government facility up to 8 weeks of gestation at PSC, up to 12 weeks at CSC, and 20 weeks at district hospital. So you should keep in mind that if you are supposed to do in the emergency PSC more than 8 weeks, then if you are doing for the saving life of the patient, you can, but immediately you have to send to the information to the appropriate authority. Inspection at the approved place. And again, I would like to tell you that these approved sites, they have to take an approval only once in a life till it is rejected. So you are not to renew these approval again and again. In PCPNDT Act, you have to do it every 5 years, but here For MTP, your center should have to be approved only once. And inspection can be done by appropriate authorities. And if the CMO is authorized to inspect the place approver for conducting MTP to verify whether it is conducted under safe and hygienic condition or not, that if they found that this is not proper, then they can reject, and then owner may file a review application within 60 days to government against the suspension or cancellation. Then government, after giving the owner an opportunity to being heard, may confirm, modify or reverse the order. DLC members, they are not authorized to conduct inspections without permission of CM. Experience and training requirement for providing MTP, you all know either practitioner MBBS who holds a postgraduate degree or diploma in obstetrics, or who has completed 6 months as a house surgeon in obstetrics, or who has at least 1 year experience in practice of obstetrics at any hospital that has all facilities, or who has assisted a RMP in 25 cases of termination of pregnancy and done at least 5 independently in a hospital established or maintained by government or a training institute approved for this purpose. But such type of provider can do only termination up to first trimester only. Now the question, can medical method of abortion be provided by MBBS doctor or who is not MTP certified? And can it be provided from an unapproved site? Because it is normally said that it is a simple thing. So I want to tell you that all laws related to MTP Act, they apply on the medical methods also. Provider eligibility is only an RMP as under the MTP Act. Who is having the additional training also, they can prescribe only medical method stuff. And site eligibility, the medical method of abortion up to 7 weeks of gestation can be provided by a RMP under the MTP Act from an OPD clinic with established linkage to an approved site. And this established linkage should be displayed at her or his OPD clinic. All the records of pregnancy termination have to be maintained for medical method also, like consent form, opinion forms, admission register, which I will discuss. So now come to the documentation. As we are aware that MTP Acts, who will do, where we can do. Now, practitioner. And form 2, it is the submitted by head of the hospital in the end of the month to the CMO. And form 3, this is the admission register, also called admission register. An approved site shall maintain case record in this, and this register is kept for a period of 5 years from the date of last entry. Now, this is the form C, consent form. So whenever you have selected a case for MTP, then you have to take consent only on this form. This is the form C. You can download it from the government site, and only on this format, this form, you have to take consent. If you require to take some additional consent, then you can take on the separate paper, but this consent should be on this form C. Second, this is the called form 1 or RMP opinion form. You can say that this is very simple form. Here this is the name of the patient, address, and full name of the pregnant woman in the block letters, and here the signature of the RMP. If up to 12 weeks, then only 1 RMP signature. If it is up to more than 12 weeks, then 2 signatures. And here you can see that there are 5 indications which I have told you, and you have to tick the indication. You cannot left this form the blank. And this is the opinion form called RMP form. Remember that sex selection is not a legal ground for terminating a pregnancy. You have to choose the indication only from 5 indications, which is written in the form. The provider must ensure that ground for termination is clearly stated in the opinion form. Opinion of the provider, like RMP, who is doing the termination, who is filling the documentation, who is the eligible provider, he or she is adequate to certify grounds for providing abortion service. So he is full authority to take decision and adequate to decide the ground. This is the form 2, monthly reporting form. So when you are doing the process, then you have to keep in hand consent form and RMP form or opinion form. This should be handy at your OPD, and this monthly reporting form has to send at the end of the month So it can be filled later on. Admission register form also can be filled later on, but these all things, this admission register you can see has the 14 columns, and only in the admission register the name of the patient is mentioned, and beside that you are not supposed to mention the identity of the patient anywhere. The admission register, it is a confidential document and is not open to inspection by any person except under the authority of law. Authority of law means CMO or team sent by the CMO. The same has to be kept in safe custody. No entry of an FTP shall be made in any case sheet, operation theatre register, follow-up card, or any document or register other than the admission register maintained at the facility. Admission register need to be preserved for a period of 5 years. There is no requirement for recording sex of the abortus in the admission register for any other record. So now I can summarize the essential protocol of safe and legal abortion. It is performed by registered medical practitioner as defined under the MTP Act. It is performed by an approved site under the MTP Act and recorded in Form 3. Other requirement of Act such as consent form, opinion form, monthly reporting form, they are fulfilled. The pregnancy is within gestational limit approved by the law, and only if a doctor is following all these things, then she would get the protective cover of MTP Act. And you all know that MTP Act is to protect doctors from IPC 315, and it discriminalizes the abortion. So it is very important shelter to protect the doctor if they are providing the abortion services. So I have documentation for other types of abortion, like what documentation I have told you, all 3 forms and consent on the Form C, that are for MTP. But other abortions like spontaneous, inevitable, incomplete abortion, missed abortion, none of these come under the purview of MTP Act. So documentation, they are not required, and you can fill their details as you do in your OT registers. And if you do violation of MTP Act, then following offences can be punished with rigorous imprisonment for 2 to 7 years, as well as anyone terminating a pregnancy who is not a registered medical practitioner as under the MTP Act, or terminating at a place which is not approved, or mandatory documentation of consent, opinion, case recording, monthly reporting are not adhered to. If these are not followed, then it is said violation of MTP Act. Now, this was the one important act related to law related to MTP. Now, few words about PCPNDT Act implementation. There is lots of conflict about PCPNDT MTP Act. No, I want to tell you that there is no relation of PCPNDT with MTP Act. PCPNDT, it is designated for the prohibition of sex determination or sex selection before or after conception. It does not restrict access to the safe abortion or require monitoring of abortion services. At times, it is assumed that most abortions are for sex selection, but this perception is untrue and not supported by any study of Act. So these all are NHM guidelines lines. So there is no role of no monitoring of abortions will be done if under the PCPNDT Act. So both purposes are different, and both are for different purposes. PCPNDT Act, what does it actually regulate? It is the use of prenatal diagnostic techniques like ultrasound, amniocentesis by allowing their use only to detect genetic abnormality, metabolic disorder, chromosomal abnormalities, congenital anomaly, hemoglobinopathy, sex-linked disorder. This act does not regulate abortion services, delivery, documentation, or its reporting. Abortion service delivery is to be monitored by under the MTP Act. So this should be clear to the every member. And role of appropriate authorities, what they can do if they are monitoring the PCPNDT. So I want to tell you that appropriate authority found some irregularities. They can suspend, cancel your certificate of registration of genetic counseling center laboratory under PCPNDT Act. So you have to know details about all formalities and all protocols to be followed for the MTP Act as well as PCPNDT Act, and must be serious to continue to follow these things. So, and third act, that is POXO Act, only one slide about. Yesterday we have discussed in the detail. POXO Act, what is it? If if you are concerned or someone comes, minor come for seeking termination of pregnancy. If she comes to you, then this POXO Act, like this, you all know, protection of children against sexual offenses. This came in the 2012, and how it protects it. This POXO Act requires anyone who knows that a sexual offences has been committed. Like if someone comes to your gynae OPD and saying discharge and all, and if you think that some sexual offences is being done, then it is your duty to report the case to appropriate authorities. What is those appropriate authorities? Local police or special juvenile police, or to the concerned authority in the hospital responsible for medical legal cases to report the same. So this is one thing. And second thing is that medical practitioner must remember that while completing the reporting formalities, it is also important to ensure that services are offered to the client and all documentation is maintained as per the provision of the law. So you are not, you have to continue the treatment, and you are not supposed to do other thing, anything extra, or you are not supposed to defer the treatment. And beside that, the special juvenile police unit or local police has to further report the matter to the child welfare committee in 24 hours. So that is in the state head office. So you have to send the report immediately to the local police or special juvenile police. Medical practitioners are not obligated to file an FIR or to conduct the investigation. You have just to send the information, and you have to take the acknowledgement or receiving. The provider duty is to only inform the authorities when providing services to a minor, including abortion services under the existing provision of MTP Act. Legal proceedings, if any, can continue simultaneously and should not be a hindrance in progress. If you want to conduct the safe abortion, then first thing you must be aware about the law. Then you have to improve your clinical skill. How you can do? You have to take detailed history, clinical examination, procedures, complication management, post-abortion care, and contraception counseling. So time to time, you have to remain updated for all these things. Clinical assessment, whenever you are selecting any case for MTP or abortion, you have to not only confirm the pregnancy and know the exact period of gestation, but simultaneously you have to assess the other women's general conditions, associated gynae disorders, and medical problems. Role of ultrasound for doing MTP. Now, I want to tell you that ultrasound may be useful or helpful for accurate dosing when there is a discrepancy in the size of the uterus by LMP and by manual examination. However, this test is not a mandatory requirement for the provision of MTP. So you must keep in mind, according to law, it is not mandatory. But if you think so, or it is available, and it can also be used to detect ectopic pregnancy along with quantitative beta-HCG measurement. Since it is an obstetric ultrasound, so must be done in accordance with PCPNDT Act. So it is not mandatory according to law, but if it is required in need of patient, then you can advise. Lab investigations, only hemoglobin, urine, and blood group is required, and beside, in case of existing infection, sample can be taken for culture for final diagnosis of type of infection. Methods of termination, you all know medical methods up to 7 weeks according to MTP Act, and drugs are approved for 9 weeks by the FDA. So, but if you are following the MTP Act, this should be done only up to 7 weeks, and surgical up to 20 weeks of pregnancy. And for the medical methods, you have to filter these documents, and I have already told that if someone is coming to you with failed medical method, then it will be considered as an incomplete abortion. But if you are starting the medical method for MTP, then you have to fill all these forms, form 1, 2, 3, and form C, consent form. Medical method, we all know up to 7 weeks. Protocol is mifepristone on day 1, 200 milligram, and on day 3, 400 microgram, preferably sublingual or vaginal tablets metopristol. And on 15th day, we call the patient to confirm for the completion of the process. This is the proper guidelines for the Government of India. You can download or you can have this. And here we recommend the 3 visits if you are providing the medical method. First visit is called day 1, when you give the day of mifepristone. When you give the mifepristone, that is called day 1, not when the patient comes first to you. And in this visit, you take the detailed history. Here the important highlights, beside the clinical examination and other things, first you have to do contraception counseling. If NTD is required for RH negative, you have to give. Informed consent, tablet you will give, and most important thing that you will give contact address and phone number of the facility to the woman so that she can have access of the health facility. And second most important thing, that you have give the patient follow-up card. This is the very important card, and I think if many of all health providers will use this follow-up card for the medical method, then complications will be definitely very much minimized. Because in this follow-up card, first thing, you have the access of the facility. If the lady has this knows the doctor's number and when she has to come, day 1, day 2, day 3, and what are the expected problems she can have in the coming 15 days, and what are the problems when she has to report immediately to the doctor. These all things are written in this. So you have to give this card on the first day, call her on the second visit or third day of the after 2 days of the mifeprine, and when you give the misoprostol 400 microgram, then here very important thing is you have to observe the patient for 4 to 6 hours in the clinic or hospital, and if she have and then preferably perform bimanual examination just before discharging him from the facility to rule out expulsion of product of conception, and inform her to keep filling the card. So this is very important. This is the second visit. And beside that, tell the patient if there is no bleeding in 4 to 6 hours when you are observing, you are discharging her, and again if in 24 hours there is no bleeding, then she has to report to the hospital, and then you again rule out either ectopic or continuation of pregnancy, location of pregnancy, and if it is there is no effect on the misoprostol, either you non-viable or miss, you can repeat dose of misoprostol or you do vacuum aspiration, depends on the case. And then third visit or day 15, otherwise you call the patient that she should come on the third visit or day 15. Here, note relevant history and see the completion of product clinically. It is sufficient if you are satisfied, but if you think that ultrasound is required, you can advise. Otherwise, ask the woman to report big if there is no period within 6 weeks. And reinforce contraceptive counseling and services. So again, I will like to say that this follow-up card is very important. You do only 3 visits, and nowadays in corona pandemic, I have said that you can minimize the visits up to 1, but remain touch in the patient by this follow-up card. So if all these protocols are followed, that effectiveness of medical method is 95 to 99%, and heavy bleeding requiring vacuum aspiration or incomplete abortion is only 1 to 2% are required. But of course, with the medical complications like vaginal bleeding, incomplete abortions, continuation of pregnancy and infection. So if we will follow with the follow-up cards, that we can identify these things earlier and can manage. Then second most important surgical method, that is the vacuum aspiration. Nowadays, DNC is totally condemned by the WHO. So you are not supposed to do curating, only aspiration. And aspiration, I am promoting and I am encouraging the vacuum aspiration, especially manual, for last many years. But nowadays in corona, it is in fact, I think, boom, that here we can do the termination up to 12 weeks. This is the MVA's indication that you can terminate the pregnancy up to 12 weeks only. And this 12 weeks you can decide clinically. And beside that, in nowadays also, and normally, you can evacuate in cases of incomplete, missed abortion or molar pregnancy. So it is very effective and safe method. Why? Because it doesn't require general anesthesia or many drugs or electricity, and very simple and handy instrument, and very non-traumatic. You can see this is the simple manual vacuum aspiration syringe, and with the small parts can be easily disassemble and assemble. And this is a very simple procedure. These are the 10 steps of MBA. We all know. We must learn all these steps so that we can do the procedures properly. So it is very manual vacuum aspiration. They have the safe technology for uterine evacuation up to 12 weeks LMP. Accurate clinical assessment, counseling, and informed consent must before this procedure. Ideal pain control during VA is a combination of verbal reassurance, oral analgesics before 30 to 60 minutes procedure, and paracervical block. So nowadays it is most recommended, especially in the corona. VA procedure should be performed as per the protocol, and evacuated tissue should be sent for the inspection. Follow-up visit should take place within 1 to 2 weeks after a vacuum aspiration. Post-abortion counseling, it is a very important part, and the most important thing is that providers should counsel about the contraceptive method and try to adopt, because we must tell them that 75% women ovulate and 6% conceive within 2 to 6 weeks after abortion if they are not using contraception. And all modern contraceptive method can be safely provided immediately after the first trimester abortion. The continuation rate for post-abortion insertion of IUCD, it is very good. We must promote it. This is a good contraceptive option. And insertion of IUCD immediately after the first or second trimester abortion is not associated with higher risk of expulsion, infection, or bleeding. So this message you should note. Abdominal tubectomy can be safely performed with MTP, but nowadays in Corona, we are not preferring it. Laparoscopic ligation should be done after the first trimester. We are also not recommending nowadays. So we all know that care after abortion. So here, this is the again government guidelines that do not discourage service providers from providing safe and legal abortion through measures such as tracking of abortion outcome or reviewing data for second trimester abortion. Quite obviously, half of legal abortions will involve female fetuses, and this will be true regardless of the sex ratio of that area or the level of compliance with the law. So this is the NHM guidelines for monitoring and authorities. So safe abortion services, they should be continued. So in the end, I would like to say that safe and legal abortion, we all know in summary that it is legal only to terminate pregnancy up to 20 weeks. Only consent of the woman is required if she is more than 18 years. For private site, MTP site approval is done by district level committee. There are different experience, training, and site requirement for first and second trimester MTP. Documentation of MTP procedure include filling up the following form: Form C, consent form, Form 1, opinion form, Form 2, monthly reporting form, and admission register. The MTP Act and PCPNDT Act, they are two separate things, and objective of they are different, so they should not have conflict with each other. And in the last, I will say as nowadays in the corona pandemic, in the services and should be continued at any condition, while other non-essential services are suspended or restricted movement. So in nowadays, what we have to do, we have to extend remote consultations to provide abortion services, counseling, and contraception. Abortion services and contraception should not be denied. MTP should be provided according to MTP Act, and all documentation should be maintained. Minimize the personal visit of patient as judged by clinician, but at least one visit is required. You cannot provide the MTP or medical methods or abortion services only by telemedicine. Minimize supportive and OT staff. Corona state of patient should be known before and after doing any surgical abortions, and all infection prevention precautions should be taken according to need, ensure availability, and show proper follow-up. So this is regarding how to improve the skills, how to increase the awareness, how to motivate the Surakshit Garbhat Beti Bachao ke saath, not only amongst the doctor, amongst the health workers, amongst the public, and among the young generations, doctors. And this is, you can see very beautiful materials developed by the government for the ANM, ASHA, IEC materials about the Surakshit Garbh Samapan abortion, simple, beautiful flip books, lots of leaflets in Hindi about safe abortion, posters about the safe abortion. So with this, I would like to thank that please continue to give safe abortion services with maintaining all legal and safety part. And please have a click of this slide. I have my phone number as my mail ID. If you have some queries, you can send to me and I can help with my Foxy team. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharti. This has been a real informative talk, especially to the budding gynecologists who are going to start their setup. They will understand how they are going to proceed for this. And before knowing the guidelines, I think one should not dare to start an MTP in an unrecognized center. And it's good that they should start these practices, knowing all the national guidelines and the state guidelines, the government orders, how they have to do, and then they will be safe.
And proper documentation.
Yes, and documentation so that they'll be safe before they start doing anything. Thank you so much, Bharti.
Emphasized very well.
Yes. And Bharti, so I think you should now proceed for your next talk. That is an abnormal uterine bleeding. And let's see what's new and what's update.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. And now only
I think
some.
we can have questions afterwards. Probably there are few persons who want to
Yeah.
ask questions, but let us have the questions afterwards. please.
All thanks to all viewers who are attaching with this online. Please continue to post your questions, and we will see after 5 minutes after this presentation, we will see all questions. So this is about the AUB diagnosis and management, and here I am only focusing on the special medical management, what we our very favorite drug for managing the acute abnormal uterine bleeding, that is norethistone. So I am taking some part of this. So AUB diagnosis as management. Abnormal uterine bleeding means AUB. We all know that it is defined as bleeding from the uterine corpus that is abnormal in regularity, volume, frequency, or duration, and occurs in the absence of pregnancy. So the ACOG definition has about the AUB. And burden of AUB in India, if you see that it is 17 to 80% women complain of AUB, and 40 to 53% of women aged less than 21 or more than 21 years respectively complained of excessive bleeding. And you will be surprised to know that 58% hysterectomies, they occur because of only AUB. So this is very important topic we must know. And AUB, abnormal uterine bleeding, you already know that when the patients come, how much they are in the trouble, how they are keen to get rid of this problem, because it affects lots of quality of life, social, emotional, and besides that, it causes the loss of productivity of that person, woman, utilization of healthcare services, because lots of service providers, they get busy, and iron deficiency anemia that women develop. So again, it causes lots of morbidity. So of course, it required immediate attention. Nomenclature of AUB in the all over, we all know and familiar now the FIGO system of nomenclature for etiology of AUB, and we are using it all over the world. And FIGO system, you know, that is the PALM point, it is called. PALM means the polyp, adenomyosis, leiomyoma, malignancy, and hyperplasia. And these are the we find out, and we mention AUBP, AUBA, AUBL, AUB malignancy if it is so. And beside that, we have to find out cause, rule out the cause, whether it is coagulopathy. Point means C, coagulopathy, ovarian dysfunction, E, endometrial, I, iatrogenic, and N, not yet classified. So by this classification, we find out or make the diagnosis. How we use. Besides that, this is the new terminologies approved by FIGO in 2014. And these are the heavy menstrual bleeding should replace the menorrhagia. Now words menorrhagia, metrorrhagia, menometrorrhagia, polymenorrhea, they are not in use. For menorrhagia, we use the heavy menstrual bleeding means HMB. For intermenstrual bleeding, replace the term metrorrhagia. And heavy and prolonged bleeding, they should replace menometrorrhagia. So what we were saying earlier, that is called either heavy menstrual bleeding, intermenstrual bleeding, heavy and prolonged bleeding, and frequent menstrual bleeding instead of polymenorrhea. Diagnosis of AUB, we all know. Whenever patients come with a complaint of bleeding for vagina and we rule out a pregnancy, then of course we take detailed medical history, physical examination, clinical examination, local examination, and we found if there is a presence of history of medication she has taken, and for that it is causing AUB, then of course it is very clearly iatrogenic. And if women have a features like she suspected coagulopathies by the history and by the examination, then you do certain other investigations like platelets, prothrombin time, partial prothrombin time, and certain clotting factors. And if you find that it could be coagulopathy, you have to do a specific investigation to diagnose coagulopathy. And if it is not so, then you do the investigations to find out other causes, and the basic investigation, thyroids, complete blood counts, ultrasonography, and MRI if required. And it could be normal, that, or it could be on ultrasonography increased endometrial thickness or imaging suspicious of malignancies, and it could be by the ultrasound some structural abnormality. You can confirm the finding further by MRI, or if required for the management, if you think it is required. Then whatever the case, if woman is more than 40 years, then you have to do endometrial tissue sampling, hysteroscopy, biopsy. It is the most recommended thing. But if woman is less than 40 years, who have high risk factor for carcinoma, endometrium. What are those high risk factors? Either irregular bleeding, OBC associated with hypertension, PCOS, diabetes, endometrial thickness more than 12 millimeter, family history of malignancy of ovary, breast, endometrium colon, then or she is using tamoxifen for HRT or breast cancer, then we have to do the hysteroscopy and biopsy. And if on hysteroscopy and biopsy you find the hyperplasia or carcinoma, then you manage accordingly. Or if you find some structure abnormality, then you get the detail of that particular organ, like you are getting the fibroid or any other thing, then you got whether it is adenomyosis or leiomyoma polyp. So by this way you make the diagnosis. Treatment of AUP. We all know that it could be divided medical and surgical. Always medical treatment is preferred and surgical minimal invasive treatment is preserved. So hysterectomy is the last and least preferred choice. So medical treatment, hormonal, non-hormonal. Again, non-hormonal treatment is most preferred, but if not responsive, then hormonal and conservative surgical treatment. Non-hormonal treatment for heavy menstrual bleeding. We all know tranexamic acid is nowadays very popular. We are using antifibrinolytic. It has its advantages for short term, but it is having the disadvantages also because of it is costly, because of other factors. And states preparations, mefenamic acid we use, definitely reduce the bleeding, but of course significant reduction in blood loss. But it is seen that 52% of women treated with mefenamic acid for 2 months maintain the blood loss of greater than 80 ml per cycle. So though they are effective, sometimes you need some more effective drugs. To talk about the hormonal treatment for heavy menstrual bleeding, for the medical method, then oral progestogen. It comes in our mind first. And beside oral progestin, the levonorgestrel releasing intrauterine device. Now LNG IUD, or some are causing Mirena or Emireli, and there are many names. These are also very much popular if patient can have these, and very much recommended all over the world. Beside that, you can use as a hormonal combined oral contraceptive pills. They are also effective in controlling the heavy menstrual bleeding, injectable progesterone, and gonadotropin releasing hormone. All have other certain indications and preferred in different women according to the individual patient need. Now, I am focusing on only norethistron oral progestogen. We all know that this is the Kete Rambar drug. This is the most effective drug we are using. Norethistron, it is the most commonly used oral progestogen in the treatment of heavy menstrual bleeding. It have a very good efficacy and hemostatic progesterone. It reduces blood loss by more than 80%. How it works? We all know that norethistron, it is a progesterone which inhibit the endometrial growth. It organizes the slough to bacillus layer. It stimulates arachidonic acid formation. This is the most important mode of action, that how it stimulates the arachidonic acid formation. And norethistron is the most commonly used oral progesterone in treatment of HMB, we all know, and in fact most effective also. And we all know that arachidonic acid, it makes the prostaglandin F2 alpha. So if progesterone promotes its synthesis, then prostaglandin F2 alpha by thromboxane and prostacyclin, they causes the vasoconstriction and decrease the bleeding. So this is the about the norethistron. Though definitely it is better hemostatic than medroxyprogesterone acetate, we all know. And beside that, it is the treatment of menorrhagia, reduction of bleeding in around 87% or more. And over OCPs, we can say that if there is acute bleeding, then it is definitely preferred to control bleeding at that time. And here, because there is no estrogen, so estrogen side effects are not there. And in adolescent, if we talk, then of course we know that in adolescent, first we prefer non-hormonal method. We try to give non-hormonal, and if it is not controlled and she is having the acute bleeding, puberty, menorrhagia, and at that time you requires to use norethistone for short term. So use of norethistone for treatment of severe uterine bleeding in adolescent, and this it is used, and they are saying that for 21 days it is quite effective and safe for controlling the bleeding, because blood loss and its associated morbidity and mortality is so high that you have to give some good effective hormonal treatment. And treatment of severe uterine bleeding in adolescents, so it is said that if it is, you can give it from 10 to 30 milligram. And nowadays, because we have the sustained release tablets in the strength of 10 milligrams, 15 milligrams, so these there is the advantage of these tablets that you can give, so that there is a sustained maintenance of hormones here in the body. So they work in the good way. But of course, I will like to say that in adolescence, you try to give as minimal as drugs which are doing optimal work. So take home message is that abnormal uterine bleeding is a common problem for menarche to menopause. Anovulatory cycle are the most common cause, and heavy menstrual bleeding is the most common presenting feature. And you have to choose some medicine according to the individual needs by the cafeteria approach. Nowadays, lots of treatment options are there, but of course, medical method is always preferred. Vigilant histopathological screening of endometrial samples obtained from patient with AUB should be done. So this is the important take-home message. If you can do, evidence-based management can avoid number of unnecessary hysterectomy. So this is also take-home message. Norethistone 15 milligram per day is effective for treatment of AUB, where it is not controlled by the other non-hormonal method. So thank you. Thank you, Kirti madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharti. And I think this norethistron is especially going to be beneficial in this COVID era, where we cannot see most of the patients, and at least we can give her a symptomatic relief by telling her to take norethistron so that her bleeding stops, and she should continue it for 21 days, and this would help her so that anemia does not develop. Later on, when we will be seeing her after this third lockdown, we might give her some final treatment.
Yes.
Thank you, Bharti. Thank you so much.
Especially in this era, it has a great role.
Yes, yes, especially at this time, it is really going to be beneficial. This
Very
molecule.
beneficial, yes. And it's a very good drug and safe drug, actually. To be
Yes.
used. Thank you, Bharti. It was very nice.
Thank you, madam.
So now we can entertain questions if.
Yes, some questions?
Yeah, I have one question.
Sure.
Can I put my question, please?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
sure.
please.
Yes, ma'am, you can speak.
I have who is 22 years old, unmarried. She has the heavy menstrual bleeding, and her ET on ultrasound is vacant. Now we got
What is her ET like? How much ET?
I think audio is not good from her side.
Ma'am, your voice is not coming, ma'am. Your mic is muted.
Usko,
What is the endometrial thickness?
Am I audible?
Yes,
now,
you are
now,
audible. What is the ET? Endometrial thickness, how much?
ET was around
Excuse me?
around 12 mm.
12
mm.
Now we got
Yes.
her MRI. We got her MRI
huh?
and it shows hematometry, and not really on any medication. She has a prolonged bleeding and that too heavy. So controlled with OCPs, even given for 3 hours, control on Primaritin. So just want to know whether hysteroscopy DNC for unmarried should be done in
Why
case she
not?
has hematometria, or what
Why
should be the
not? Why
protocol?
not? She really needs it. She needs it. Even if she's unmarried, she'll have to go for a hysteroscopic examination and a dilatation, followed by this drainage
Yeah, I
of
agree.
this
This is
hematometra.
difficult to convince parents.
No, then you have to
Yeah.
convince.
You'll be doing under
Hysteroscopy DNC should be
anesthesia,
done.
under general anesthesia. And this hematometra
we are
could have
doing-
resulted because of stenosis
and-
of the cervical os due to some infection. Even if she's unmarried, so what?
There is
Yeah, I
no other
just want to add
option.
one thing. Madam, with due permission, I just want to add something for this little girl. Now we do office hysteroscopy and we are not holding the cervix with the valcellum. It is a vaginoscopic method, and with little small hysteroscopes, it can be done in the little in unmarried girls without disturbing their virginity. So, like Kirti ma'am has said, we can go for hysteroscopies in such cases.
Yes, why not?
Yeah.
If you can manage with minimal instruments, I think this is a good procedure, an office hysteroscopy.
Vaginoscopic method. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Right, Priyanka.
Ma'am, we also have a question from Dr. Kishore Rajkar. He wanted to ask a question. So, sir, you can ask your question now.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Sorry, is there any IV Premarin IV preparation available in India? And if it is there, what is where it is available and what is the dose for acute TUB? For acute AUB?
It comes with the name of Premarin only.
No, IV preparation.
It comes with the
Is it available?
Yeah, IV comes under the name of Premarin.
Acha, and
You
it
have
is available.
vials of Premarin.
It is available freely.
It's not regularly, not always, but often when we try to find out, it's not very freely available because most of us are not using injectable Premarin.
It's not freely available, but it is available many times. And it is IV preparation which you can give.
One question, Dr. Bharti, can I ask you?
Yeah, please.
Like in this corona and pandemic era in which we are living and giving cases, how would you dispose the products of conception of a positive patient? You did an evacuation. How would you dispose them? In bleaching solution or just packing them and putting it?
No, madam,
What
in
to do?
bleaching solution. In bleaching solution, it is safe to dispose of in the bleaching solution. We are disposing all things.
That means
in
you
bleaching.
take out the products and then you wash the tray in that bleaching solution which you have
everything in the
made.
bleaching.
And
Yeah,
then how
and
to then this
instead of pathological, if we have to do, then of course it is have to without bleaching in the separately, and we have to tell that it is for corona positive, then they will take care of that. But if it is not very much needed, so nowadays for I think 1 or 2, 3 months we discard it in the bleaching solution.
Yes. If it is not suspicious, then it's better to avoid it.
Yeah, and if it is required, then of course,
and one thing I would like to add, Dr. Bharti, like we were talking of
I want to add one thing.
post MTP. Hello, Bharti, can you hear me?
Yeah, please.
We were talking
Kirti,
of
can you hear me?
post MTP, and like you had put in on one of your slides that go for a laparoscopic ligation if your termination has been above 7 weeks. So what do you have to say era of COVID-19? Suppose the woman is positive, and would you like to do a laparoscopic ligation, or would you like to go for an abdominal?
No,
Because you can
ligation.
understand in a
fact,
laparoscope.
Madam, no ligation.
ligation.
I will do LARC, long-acting reversible contraceptive. You can give
no
to IUCD,
ligation.
but no ligation is recommended.
Okay, so you,
Yesterday it was discussed.
we will call again. We will call him.
okay, I think I must have missed it. it. Okay, so no ligation. No ligation at all.
अभी नहीं करेंगे.
Okay. Thank you.
पता नहीं फिर कभी करेंगे.
नहीं करेंगे.
नहीं मैम,
Next pregnancy करके आ जाएगी.
We have very good option for long-acting reversible contraception.
Yes, very good.
We will do IUCD. So, do we have some written questions on some chat box? No, no.
Ma'am, we also have some questions on the chat box.
I am not able to see chat box. How I can say? See?
Ma'am, you can just stop the screen sharing first.
Okay. Stop.
Good evening, ma'am. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Oh, it's good.
Ma'am, there is
Now-
one patient. She's 45 years old with heavy menstrual bleeding, and her endometrial thickness is 19 mm in ultrasound, and she hasn't responded to non methods. Hello. Hello. Hello.
आ रही है, आवाज आ रही है.
She has not responded to non-hormonal treatment, and in this present scenario of COVID, to avoid DNC, can we give a hormonal preparation to her?
Is patient bleeding? If she is bleeding?
Yeah, heavy menstrual bleeding with the endometrial thickness 18.5 mm.
Kirti madam, please take a question. I think if there
Because
is
she's 40 year, she says that she's
43 years.
year old.
She is 43 years old, ma'am.
43, so she is a patient who is at risk. Ideally, I would have done a endometrial biopsy, but because in this particular time where we cannot subject the woman to a surgical method, I think for a month or so, if she is kept on progesterone to stop her bleeding, it's not going to do any harm.
Yes.
Okay.
If once
Thank you,
the
ma'am.
things
Thank
clear
you.
up, she will have to go for a curettage.
Yes.
Yeah,
She will
ma'am.
have to.
She
you,
will
ma'am.
end up in curettage, but for the time being, we can put
Yeah,
her
ma'am.
on progesterone.
At this time,
For
we can put
time
her on
being, she'll have
hormonal
to be.
methods.
It is
Yes,
just
yes,
to
she'll
take
have to be
time,
on the
that's
hormonal
it.
method.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
My
Now
pleasure.
we can see many persons. You know, it's very good. The slides have gone. Now there are so many persons on the screen. So Gitendra, good evening.
And there is a one question, last question I am taking. I have seen the chat. Someone has asked that if can we do the MTP at 22 weeks, 23 weeks, more than 22 weeks. What I wanted to share, I am in touch of all protocols and policymakers recently that though the amendment in the MTP Act is the proposed, but it is not finalized. So till date, 22 weeks भी नहीं है, only 20 weeks termination is allowed, and that's why even in the COVID era we are saying to do ultrasonography for our pregnant women at 18 weeks positively to rule out congenital anomaly, so that if they need termination then it can be given. And if someone is diagnosed above 20 weeks congenital anomaly, then if patient needs termination of pregnancy, so by the permission of CMOs, they arrange some court order, and by that permission only you can go for the termination of pregnancy above 20 weeks in genuine indication. But in very soon, the order is, in fact, law is coming when the more than 20 weeks of termination for the rape victim survivor as well as for the congenital anomaly can be done under the law. We are not trying
Good.
to termination age. It's not that women right that we can go for 30, 40. It is risk. So we want that if it is required, then termination should be done before 20 weeks for safety of women. So I have seen this question. So I think we have.
Hello?
Yeah. Rukma madam, please.
Hello?
bolo.
Kirti, I'm audible.
You are audible. Please, boliye.
Yes, madam.
When you were discussing about the IV Primarin, I don't think it is required in young girls and all that.
She was
You were
asking for
discussing
whether it is
some
available
IV.
or not.
No.
He
not
had
for the
asked
girls.
only about availability.
He was just asking IV preparation is available and is it available or not. So that's why. It was not for
Even
that.
sterilization after this abortion is not mandatory nowadays with the corona, because we discussed it yesterday only.
That's what we said. That
I was not there. I missed it. I missed it.
Actually, we discussed it yesterday only.
Yes. That's what I was saying.
Dr. Reena Srivastava madam है. Please जरा उनको स्क्रीन पे फोकस करिए. Organizer, I am seeing her name. Sadhana Gupta, Dr. Reena Srivastava, Dr. Shobha Gudi, Dr. Vidya Dobi. जरा मिलवा दो सब लोगों से.
That's what I said. Let us have everybody on the screen if possible.
नहीं मैं इनका who is the organizer?
Ma'am,
Audiovisual, please. अगर
yes,
आप
yes.
आई नहीं रही फोटो हम लोग की.
रुकमा मैडम आपने वीडियो स्टॉप किया होगा अपना.
मैम
नहीं किया, ऑन चल रहा है हमारा.
डॉक्टर
ऑन
गीतेंद्र
चल रहा, ऑन
विद्या दोबी मैडम हेलो.
ऑन चल रहा,
वी कैन
ऑन चल रहा. पता नहीं हो क्या दिक्कत हो गई. चलो
तेरा नहीं आ रहा रुकमा.
And
Ma'am, Dr. Rukma Idani, doctor, the network is poor. That is why the video is on, but we are not able to see the video. And ma'am, all the doctors who have switched on the video, everyone is visible on the screen right now, ma'am.
okay. Someone has left, but Dr. Arina Srivastava was there. I think she has left. So,
Hello, Bharti.
Hello.
Very much.
Can
you hear me? It was
Dr.
very-
Shobha Madam. Hello. Thanks
Hello,
for being here.
hello.
Hello, Bharti. Vidya Madam.
Yes, it
We
was-
can have a chairperson
Yeah.
of Food and Drug Committee. We have chairperson Family Welfare Committee. Dr. Geetendra is here. He's we all know chairperson Medical Committee. No, Dr. Geetendra.
He is very well known due to his accident.
And Dr. Mridula Tyagi Madam, I see him. Her.
Everyone, it's so nice to see so many persons.
Yeah,
When we have not met for, I think, 3 months.
Yeah, these are all, no, ma'am, they are from all over country, na? Not
Yes,
only from
no,
Meerut.
Even
Dr.
Meerut
Durga,
Yeah,
Dr.
Bharti,
Durga Shankar.
Bharti, I had
Yeah.
a question. I had a
Yeah.
question.
हाँ,
Yeah.
madam.
Yeah. Bharti, बहुत अच्छा किया. It was
Thank you.
very exhaustive presentation. And you have become a master of MTP Act and
Yes.
For the viewers who are asking about the amendment, I just wanted to appraise them that it has already passed, presented in the Lok Sabha. Actually, I happened to tune in when the day that it was getting presented. The amendment has extended MTP up to 24 weeks in special situations, not as a blanket. And that will include unmarried and rape victims and malformations. These three are definitely included. Yeah. And that is one thing I wanted to tell. So as soon as I think the sessions resume, it might get implemented in the form of a bill. It may get passed. That is one thing. The second thing, Bharti, I just wanted to have some deliberation on, in these times of COVID-19, hello?
Yeah, please.
Could we ask for medical method beyond 7 weeks also? Because just today I got on 8 weeks and she was not willing for surgical. I have put her on medical with a close watch.
Madam, with very जो latest अपना comprehensive abortion care government of India का guideline है latest वाला, उसमें बिल्कुल clearly 2 things लिखी हैं in the line. First thing, according to MTP Act, it is up to 7 weeks, but FDA approved the medicine up to 9 weeks.
63.
So now for Act, I think if some legal issues occur, then they will say that in Act it is up to 7 weeks. So medicines are approved till 9
weeks. Yes.
So I think for proper protection is only their MTP Act if it is used for 7 weeks. Now work will be done further. So Dr.
In a nulliparous
we can use it up to 63 days.
Yes, I also agree.
3 days it can be used.
इसमें agree से नहीं होता, इसमें law में बस ये लिखा हुआ है.
Law, we have to follow the
law में नहीं लिखा लेकिन 63 days लिखा.
नहीं act में
भारती से पंगा नहीं लेने का MTP के मामले में.
So like Novi madam, हाँ. What do you say? हाँ madam बोलिए.
एक मिनट कि what I was trying to say that in a nulliparous woman, the woman who is primi gravida, and somehow we are not able to convince her, or she is unmarried and she is desperate about it, we have to provide her MTP, and she is around 8-9 weeks. So many times I just wanted to say that I have opted for medical, and it has worked well for her.
7 to 9 weeks you can think, क्योंकि दोनों चीजें हैं 7 or 9. That's why. Dr. Geetendra, you wanted to say something?
Good evening, madam. Good evening to everybody.
Good evening.
Rightly said by you, madam. Now DGCA has approved up to 9 weeks. So up to 63 days we can do MTP by this method. And one more thing I want to add, that say, and which is always there, that law cannot teach you medicine. So law cannot teach you that how to terminate pregnancy. So even in second trimester abortion, people are using misoprostol and mifeprist, and it is allowed because in books and in WHO guidelines it is clearly mentioned that you can terminate in second trimester also by giving these type of medicines.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that is there.
yeah. So law cannot teach you medicine how to terminate. Whatever you feel like, you can continue. There is no as such borderline for using empty pill.
So ठीक है डॉक्टर गीतेन मेडिकल लीगल पे इशू होगा तो we
Dr.
will handle
Giten,
it.
Take care. I will take care, madam.
Yeah.
it all depends on the patient
Sugar
and
Shankar,
surgeon. It all
Doctor-
depends on the experience of the surgeon who is performing
Yes.
and
yes.
the patient.
And how many support of medical legal
Audio is
person like
not
Dr.
very
Gita?
good.
So I think now everything is covered.
Yeah, ma'am.
So
And,
I think we can conclude it now.
Yeah, madam, we can conclude because I think time is over.
So thank you. I said, I totally agree with her that you have really become a master of MTP, safe abortions and MTP. So thank you very much. You very nicely told everything about safe abortion. And then today, for the first time, I have heard you about abnormal uterine bleeding and the role of methylstrone. Thank you very much. It
Thank
was
you,
very
madam.
nice.
Thank you.
And I really wish that you go ahead like this only. Keep it up. You are a very hard-working person and you are doing a lot. And Shobha and Gitendra, you all are doing so much for our FOPSI that we are really very grateful. And today it was very nice that Alpesh was with us and he also spoke about 2 to 3 minutes. So thank you everyone to be with us today.
From
And
all over country.
from the academic achievement by this webinar, at least we can see faces of each other. It's really nice to see you when we cannot meet for, I don't know, whether we will meet in another 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, maybe even 6 months. But it's a very good way through these webinars, we can see each other's faces. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, madam, for your kind words. And in fact, many of us, they are happy to see you in the webinar and we hear your voice and get your blessings. And thank you, Kirti madam, as a senior expert, Rukma madam, Dr. Durga Shankar, Dr. Gitendra, Dr. Shobha Gude, and many more names from all over the country, Dr. Vidya Dhobi, and I am seeing from the different states of the name of the person so thank you for joining this, and thank you Alembic for organizing this.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
Ma'am, on the behalf of
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, on the behalf of Alembic, I also special thanks to Dr. Bharti Maheshwari, who has given us a chance also, and to our experts and all the participants who have joined us today this evening time. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, and best
Thank
wishes to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Wish you a great day, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Okay.